finally, my Bearded Bros, it has been done after hours and hours of crafting the 256 game schedule, each outcome, possible injury scenarios in my head, like what team might get struck down with the injury bug, because I'd like to throw that in there a little bit too, to be a little bit more realistic, because there's going to be a couple teams out there who lose a star player at some point in the season and it's going to crush them. And then you got to know there's going to be some teams out there who lose a good player, but their backup steps up and absolutely crushes it, so that's good too. Now, as you can see here, every record is right here, every game inputted properly, so all 12 playoff teams and everything are visible. Now, we have 3 teams tied for the best record in the league. Now, with these teams, anything can happen. I have the Rams, Jags, and Saints all going 14-2, but with Jaguars, this is with what I did here. I'll explain the Jaguar situation a little bit. I have the Jaguars going 14-2 because I expect Blake Bortles to actually grow a little bit, and that defense is just absolutely insane. Whew. And for the Saints, I expect improved offense from Kamara. The defense I expect to improve as well. And their only serious competition for me in their own division is the Falcons, but they can handle the Falcons well enough, I believe. And they're only I think I have them losing to the Eagles. I have to check real quick in a second. And I have the Rams going 14-2 as well. I think they benefit from the Seahawks ripping apart the defense, the Niners continuing their rebuild, I should say, and the Cardinals. Cardinals are often injured, so I'm just gonna say that. Other playoff teams, I'll go right here. I'll just split up to the AFC. You have the Texans, the Patriots, Chiefs, Steelers, and Chargers, all in the playoffs for the AFC. And then for the NFC, you have the Falcons, Vikings, Eagles, and Packers also grabbing a spot, with the Falcons and Packers grabbing a wild card spot. And in the AFC, the wild cards are the Texans and the Chargers. Now, I did do the playoffs as well, but what I am going to do is just go over some interesting results from at least what I put in, because there's some good matchups out there. As you can see, Week 1 had some good games with Atlanta and Philly. But I'm going to go later into the season, like ones that had playoff implications and stuff like that, real quick. As you can tell by the schedule, or at least what I had, the Jacksonville-Houston game right here. See, this one's is going to be interesting, because let's say the schedule does play out as I predicted, or at least close to it. This game could very well decide the division, so that's going to be very, very exciting. Now, games like, there was a game, Week 11, I want to go over as well. The Eagles-Saints game, right as I said right there. I do have the Saints winning, but in the NFC, if let's say the Eagles win, go 13-3, that pushes the Saints to 13-3. That could actually push the Falcons into the division title, and could also push the Eagles above them with a tiebreaker. So there's so many like little victories and wins here, and like doing a 256 game prediction all at once, you kind of learn these things where it's like just one little game swinging the opposite direction could completely change how the NFC and AFC plays out. And I don't know why I backed out of the freaking schedule. I had the playoffs predictions up there as well. We shall go over to the wild card round. Now, if it does shake out, like I said, and I didn't predict any ties because I didn't think there was any point in predicting ties. And plus, you can't really predict ties in Madden, and I didn't really want to play out the games to be 0-0 at the end. So in the wild card round, you have the Chargers going to the Chiefs, and I have them winning as well. So I have Philip Rivers picking his first playoff game up in a while. I think the difference maker here is the Chargers pass rush, and I think Mahomes could struggle very well in his first playoff game, but he's got some serious potential. It's going to be fun watching him this year. It really is. And then the other AFC game, we have the Texans at the Steelers. I have Houston beating Pittsburgh as well. Deshaun Watson is electric, and the linebacker, or I should say the middle of the defense for the Steelers, is still a great concern. I like the addition of Tyrann Mathieu, and they still have A.J. Bouye in Houston, so they do have what it takes to shut down the Steelers' offense, or at least limit its potential. And this is if J.J. Watt does stay healthy. Hopefully he does, and he can return to form. And then in the NFC, we have the Packers at the Vikings. I have the Packers pulling this one out. Aaron Rodgers pulling off some of his patented playoff magic. And then you have Atlanta at Philly, with Philly the only one holding court in the wild card round. I don't even have to explain it. It's Philly. They're a great team. And then in the divisional round, we have the Chargers at the Jaguars. We have the Jaguars beating the Chargers. Remember, I didn't set scores for this. I just set which teams are going to win. So they have the Jaguars dismantling the Chargers. That's kind of funny. And we have the Patriots beating the Texans. We have the Rams beating the Eagles this time, which would mean we have a new Super Bowl champion this year. And then we have the New Orleans Saints beating the Green Bay Packers. Now this would be an amazing story if you think about it. Just like it was last year. You have the 5-time Super Bowl champion in Tom Brady going up against Blake Bortles again in a rematch of last year with that elite defense, another year under them, another year together. And then you have the Super Bowl champion Drew Brees against Jared Goff, a young gun who has a super team built around him. So it's basically two young quarterbacks who have amazing talent around them, especially on defense, against two of the best quarterbacks of all time. I love the stories of amazing defenses when they go up against historic quarterbacks, so that would be amazing if it played out like this. And then in the next round, I have both Super Bowl champion quarterbacks going down to the defenses, because these defenses are some scary shit. You have Aqib Talib, Aaron Donald, and Ndamukong Suh on the Rams. I think Donald and Suh can absolutely destroy the run game of the Saints come playoff time, especially if you give them time to prepare. It's going to be good, and Talib can definitely help the back end of the Rams defense hold Thomas and limit them. It's going to be up to Brees to work some magic if he wants to pull this out, but with Todd Gurley and Brandon Cooks on offense, I think they can pull out at least just enough. The weakness for the Saints, at least I believe on their team, is the linebacking core, so I think Todd Gurley can help expose that as well, at least enough to get the dub in the playoff game. And then with Jacksonville and the Patriots, like I said, probably the biggest loss, or biggest reason for the loss here, if I had to say for myself, it's not the offense of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not saying it's not formidable. You have Leonard Fournette, one of the better young backs in the league. You have, prayers up, I should say, for Marquise Lee. Hopefully the injury just looked more serious than it actually was. Dede Westbrook, their wide receiver core is like completely refreshed, and their tight end core is everything. It's just different from last year. I'm not going to underestimate their wide receivers. I don't know what to expect, so nothing completely scares me on offense. Blake Bortles can pull out some magic. He almost did last year, so I'll give him that credit. But it's the defense. With the Patriots, being a Patriots fan myself, I know the fact that we were like going into the offseason, we were like, oh, you signed Jordan Matthews, you have Kenny Britt, you have Malcolm Mitchell coming back from injury, and then like going into like the second, third week of the preseason, cut Jordan Matthews, cut Malcolm Mitchell, cut Kenny Britt. So now the Patriots, at least for the first 4 weeks, I have the Patriots winning like their first 8 games, because I think they're going to start off with a chip. I think they're going to end up probably wearing down towards the end. But you have no Julian Edelman for the first 4 weeks, so the top of your receiving chart probably looks like Hogan, Dorsett, and that's honestly not that great when you think about it. So against Jalen Ramsey and the Jaguars defense, yeah. If the Patriots are to win this matchup, I would have to say that the speed and receiving of Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, and James White are gonna have to be on full display. There's no clear weakness of the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, unless you can get them to try to predict a different play than you're running and get them when they're not there, kind of thing. If like they're playing you perfectly, you're gonna probably lose. That's why I have them going 14-2, because of that defense. Now, hopefully no one gets injured there because that defense is fun to watch. Hopefully I get them in fantasy football this year. Now, like I said, for the Patriots to win, they're probably going to have to run 2-back formations with Burkhead and White or Burkhead and Sony Michel and something like that. And hope to God they can get man-to-man coverage and expose someone for short gains and stuff like that. I don't know if they got the receiving power to do it. And that leaves the Super Bowl. So we're going to have a brand new Super Bowl champion. And by that, I mean, well, the Rams have won before. And Jacksonville's never won before, so that would be good for them. But the quarterbacks, 2 young quarterbacks with no championships, this could catapult them into the next, I should say, tier. Because a lot of the young quarterbacks don't have a Super Bowl title, except for Carson Wentz, but he was on the bench with an injury. Hopefully he stays healthy this year. You have the Jaguars at the Rams, and I have the Rams winning the Super Bowl. It's a battle of defenses, so the score that you have right here, I honestly don't think it could be too far off. Todd Gurley is great. If he works on his receiving game, it could be an incredible year for him. But if, let's see, look at this game. As Bortles throwing for 243 with an interception. That's it. And for the Rams, it has Goff throwing for 104 yards. That's it. Because of these defenses are absolutely nuts. Then if you go to the rushing, it has Gurley with 71. That's it. Grant has 30. That's it. It's just a crazy year. So I have the Rams winning the Super Bowl. Now, this is just crazy. I know that some of the things I predicted as well probably aren't that good, but considering what I predicted, I kind of do want to check out what the NFL, who they predict. They have Matt Ryan winning the MVP and some young guns up there as well. No non-quarterbacks, which kind of suck. Coach of the Year would go to Sean Payton, which is kind of nice. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know. You can let me know one of 2 things. A, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? And B, if the playoffs or whatever, like the one things I messed up, let me know in the comment section down below. Like, what records would you change? Would you knock the Jags down to like 12-4 because of Bortles, which is completely understandable? And I guess the major comment question would be, who do you think is going to suffer from the injury bug the most? And that does not include the Chargers, who already lost 3 starting caliber players to torn ACLs for the year. It means starting at the regular season and then on, who's going to be hit by the injury bug. Anyway, guys, have a good week. I'll see you next time. Peace.